Welcome back to the Virtual Entrepreneurship Center project. Project is a collaboration between Alabama A&M, Auburn University, and Tuskegee University. My name is Dr. Keenan Grinnell, CEO of Global Capital Group out of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. We're actually interviewing Dr. George Amity of Southern University in New Orleans on the topic of nonprofits as entrepreneurship engines. Very great job doing the previous module. Let's just jump in right now. What examples of enterprising nonprofits can you share with us? And they can be New Orleans centric, because I know that's where your heart is. And so what kind of examples of enterprising nonprofits can you share with us?
Well, I have a few of them. Mm-hmm. One, of course, you cite the article that we did, which had to do with the Carver Theater Project.
Right. And tell people a little bit about
Well, the Carver Theater Project is a historical site, a movie theater that was established in the city of New Orleans for African Americans. And it was one of the few because it was an all-black, and opposed to being a segregated facility. I guess it was segregated in a larger sense, but it wasn't segregated in the traditional sense of movie theaters where you had whites at the bottom and blacks at the top. And it was named, of course, after George Washington Carver. And of course, a group that I helped founded, the Umoja Institute for Cultural, Trade, and Economic Development, undertook that as one of our projects. Received money from a number of private sources, Texaco, Hibernia Bank in New Orleans, did all of the plans, but was not as part of a larger, what I call culturenomics, in order to make money tied into the culture of the city of New Orleans, where we would feature the indigenous African American culture around the Treme community, which is one of the oldest African American communities in the United States. Congo Square is there, which is said to be one of the founding areas for most of the second line music. But at any rate, this project we ran on into rough times. That's what I was saying about the idea, the drive, the capacity. We had the money in place.
So you consider those to be key ingredients to making a nonprofit entrepreneurship enterprise successful?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But in this particular case, I'm going to define the success of that a little different. And I think some of my partners and I, we differ on that. This is what you have to understand. You can have a successful entrepreneurship, and I don't know, but let's say someone comes and complete 1, 2, 3, 2, and 3, but you're unable to get to the fourth stage. And someone else comes along and takes this same idea that you brought to a certain point and then made it happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what happens with nonprofits and social entrepreneurship.
It's almost an endurance test.
Yeah, it's an endurance test. Now, I don't, ideas are like everything else. Everybody's got one.
Yeah.
But the idea is to take the idea and to go cross home plate in it. I don't have any problem with someone else taking it across home plate. I consider it successful. So that's what's happening now. The new administration has come in, and there's a group that has come in who's actually for profit and who's come and taken that exact same idea, the plans and everything else, and now it's happening.
Why would that be the case? Is it because that's where their expertise and specialty training allows them to enter at that particular point in the journey and be significant players?
In this case, it's the fourth component, the finance.
The money.
We initially had the financing to do the plans, to begin the project, and then certain commitments didn't come through. But now this group comes along. Of course, we got money from the city of New Orleans. We got money from Texaco. We got money from all of that was in place. But there's so much of a project of this magnitude. There's so much upfront capital to make it happen that to sustain it so it lay dormant for a little while,
Mhm.
but then someone came and picked it back up.
Before we go any further, you threw out a concept of Umoja, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got a feeling that several people that will be looking at this video module might not necessarily know what Umoja means.
Okay, Umoja is a Swahili word
Mhm.
meaning unity.
Mhm.
In fact, it is one of the first principles of what we celebrate, Kwanzaa.
Right.
And basically, it's said to be unity, and so that's what it's just the name of the idea of this institute was to promote culture, trade, and economic development, which we have done, and so we were involved. And I'll give you a couple of other examples with Umoja, where since we promoted it, one of the problems with entrepreneurs within the city of New Orleans is just being shut out. I mean, you would think under black mayors that it would be easy that anytime it's Atlanta under Andy Young and it's a little different because they say if you're going to do business in Atlanta, African Americans are going to have
That's
a piece
exactly
of that.
that's exactly what Maynard Jackson said.
Maynard Jackson and Andrew Young.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily always translate like that in other cities
Okay.
with black leaders because I can go, that's a whole nother conversation. But at any rate, what happened with this particular thing is that Umoja was the instrument for pushing for African American participation in major projects. As a nonprofit, we literally picketed. Literally picketed for involvement of people in the World's Fair, which was in 1984, and other projects. Very significant because one of the persons, Pierce Foundation, became a millionaire as a result of the efforts of our nonprofit. So, nonprofits can, as a social entrepreneur and nonprofits, they can advocate for others. One of the roles is to advocate for others and to put that nonprofits help to foster for-profits. That's another role. Another project, and one that I love to talk about, is one that Catholic Charities had, but it was a gentleman by the name of Ronnie Moore who used to be involved with the Congress of Racial Equality a long time ago, field director. But they had a program called The Next Level. Now, to show you how I'm back to this idea drive. The Next Level was a program because they were in partnership with Southern University of New Orleans, where part of the discharge planning, I don't know, involved with getting released from being incarcerated in jail, part of discharge planning is to look towards the future for people who are being released.
Sort of a reentry kind of program.
Reentry kind of program. In this particular case, the reentry involves working with the person who's going to be released, who now has taken advantage while they were incarcerated to develop a business idea. A business idea. So the Next Level program, the provision of the capacity through the Southern University of New Orleans Small Business Institute, and then the providing of the capital through the program through Catholic Charities. So, and then the training put together, the person comes out and upon, this idea of where I'm going to get a job when I'm released. Well, no, I have my business plan developed. I've gone through and gotten the training, and there's it's not a whole bunch of money because you're talking about business ideas that can, 10 to 15, the micro enterprises. But it's, the idea of dedicating that to persons incarcerated who normally would be fed into the recidivism cycle because they're going to look for a job and no one wants to hire them because they're ex-felons. In this particular case, they're able to go to the next level.
I like that, and I'll tell you why I like that, because we have no way of knowing who's going to, click on the topical area in which nonprofits as entrepreneurship engines will fall under. We have no way of knowing
That's right.
who's going to see this, and what you just shared could transform somebody's life who fits that unfortunate set of circumstances. There's a way up for them, not a way out. There's a way up for them in terms of some opportunities. So we're very appreciative of your knowledge in that area. What types of talent will be drawn to enterprising nonprofit initiatives? What type of talent, as a professor on a campus, you're seeing talent walk by you day in and day out. You got a long laundry list of people who you've mentored, people who've sat at your feet, I like to say this. So people who have apprenticed under you. What types of talent will be drawn to enterprising nonprofit?
Well, you have different types of students when you're in a college setting. There's some who are just interested in graduating and getting a job. That's it. Plain and simple. I want to pay my bills. I want to go to work. I want to work for somebody. Their mind is not even. And then there are those who don't even have a concern for the obvious social ills that are surrounding us. Police brutality, crime, drugs, on and on. They're aloof from them. But there are others who are sent through the college experience, and because of just who they are as a person, or because of what has impacted them in their daily lives with family and friends, they're drawn to focus on solving problems and solving issues in the community. And those are the ones who are interested in nonprofits. Don't have a clue most of the time. But with the emphasis now being on nonprofits and social entrepreneurship, a lot of that is a lot of students say, Doc, I want to do this. What do I do? And I direct them in that particular area. So, most of it I see as being related to their personal life experiences and the impact of some event or personal life event and shaping their goals or their drive, and they have ideas and they're creative thinkers and looking for ways to address those issues, and that's why I say as individuals.
Okay.
Well,
your time with us has been precious, and so one last question.
Sure.
And we'll call it quits. What's really hot and cool on the social enterprise scene in terms of projects and initiatives? You access this talent each and every day, but what are you hearing in the wind in terms of what people are thinking is really hot and really cool in terms of social enterprise projects?
That's a difficult question because it defies the very nature of the enterprise, the idea. Because it's usually derived from the person.
Right.
But I tell you what, an idea that drives the ideas, and this is something that we have in New Orleans, and it's kind of similar to the next level, but it's called the Idea Village. You've heard of that?
Yes, I've heard of that.
So the Idea Village is the call that's made to the community and say, look, you think you have a good idea? You think you have a workable solution, be it in the private or public and the nonprofit and the social future, then bring it to the table into a competition, and we'll have our committee of experts to look at these ideas.
So you Shark Tanking them.
And the ones that come out on the top end, we'll give them that seed money to get their idea started.
Gotcha.
So that, to me, that has considerable amount of success. We also have one, I think, which is very similar. A lot of is our Cafe Reconcile, which is the tourism, movie theater, food, very big, and like I said, it varies from city to city in terms of what the emphasis of that city is. But those who are at-risk kids come in, train in cuisine, the preparation of cuisine, and and those kind of things, and then are given an opportunity to come in and work in an environment in this Cafe Reconcile. In fact, I'll be going to a luncheon there given by the Louis Martinet Society, which is the law. And it's intriguing because they're supportive of it, because this is the entity that takes those who we're throwing away in the community and then come in and train them in being chefs and preparing food and in service industries. And then the actual restaurant operates based on jobs provided. So that's
Okay. Dr. Emily, look, thank you so very much.
Okay. Very good.